Well, hey there, Dirt Crew. It's officially winter in Northeast Ohio, so that means mountain biking days are gonna be few and far between. That's if you're even willing to brave the icy condition and cold temperatures when you can. Trails around here are pretty much closed from November until May, only really opening whenever there's a full freeze over, and even under those conditions, only a couple of trails tend to open. Today we're going to go over 10 tips for winter mountain biking and make the overall experience just a little bit more comfortable. Now, tip number 1 is before you head out, make sure that the trail you're going to is actually open, and don't ride closed trails. Now, this might sound pretty obvious to some, but winter and spring is when most damage happens to trails, and riding a closed trail is just going to cause some permanent damage until someone can try to fix it in the late spring, if they can even fix it at all. Avoid closed trails, and if there's any doubt, stay on some paved sections such as walking paths or the Ohio Erie towpath. Now, tip number 2 is to dress in breathable layers. Now, if you have a snowsuit that's not too baggy around the legs, that's going to be a great option. Alternatively, a warm coat with shorts and either leggings or tights underneath work as well. For your feet, wear waterproof socks with warmer wool socks over them. Now, if you don't have waterproof socks, an old scout trick that I know is that you wear tennis shoe socks, put a trash bag over top those, and cover both with wool socks to create a water barrier in between your two socks. For winter riding, your feet and your hands are going to be the most likely reason that you're going to want to quit, so take care of them both with layers. Now, for your hands, I recommend wearing medical gloves underneath your warm winter gloves, such that if they get wet, your hands stay dry. Now, tip number 3 is to bring a handlebar or a helmet-mounted light. This light here is about 200 lumens, and it wouldn't be enough to ride in the pitch dark, but for an overcast day or whenever it starts getting later on in the afternoon, it's going to help you get back to your car safely or extend your ride by another 15 minutes or so. Now, tip number 4 is to make sure that if you're bringing your phone, GoPro, or tracking equipment, keep it close to your body. Electronics freeze up pretty quickly, and a warm electronic device in your backpack or hip pouch can quickly freeze up, leaving you without a way of calling for help, or even more disastrous, not recording your Strava time. So speaking of, this brings us to tip number 5, both pack light and ride light. The last thing you're going to want to do is try to change a tire in the snow. So plan your ride such that if something happens, you're no more than a few miles away from safety, and leave anything absolutely unnecessary in your car. It's better to make multiple laps in this case than it is to overexert yourself. Also, I recommend taking frequent breaks and not getting too sweaty, as if your clothing gets soaked from sweat, it can no longer perform its duty in keeping you warm, and you can quickly get into a cold, bad spot. Now, I'm sure you've been hearing my brakes screaming for dear life, which brings me to tip number 6. Check your equipment before you go. Metallic brakes are going to be pretty loud, and they're not going to work quite as well in icy conditions. Also, your tires are going to need to be adjusted before you ride. You lose about 1 pound per square inch per 10 degrees that the temperature goes down. For traction, you're going to want the lowest PSI that you can safely run without getting a pinch flat, and you're going to want to adjust your suspension rebound down several clicks. The snow insulate rocks and bumps, and you're going to want your tires on the ground as long as possible with the largest footprint to make sure that you stay in control. Tip number 7, keep hydrated. Now, it might be easy to forget in the snow. You might not feel thirsty, but you need just as much water as you do on a hot summer day. A tip is to bring your water to just under boiling and then put it into an insulated thermos. Keep that thermos in a backpack to keep it warmer for longer, and it's going to help you keep your core body temperature regulated while keeping your energy levels up. Tip number 8, as you can already see, it's going to get dirty, just how we like it. But because of this, don't make my mistake in trying to constantly clean your GoPro and your glasses and your face. Get and install some Fenders. Also, if you don't ride with glasses, it might be a good time to invest in some. Add some icy dirt to the eye and you're gonna have a bad time. I also recommend putting down a garbage bag in your car so that when you get back and change clothes, you have somewhere to put your dirty clothing. Now, the irony of tip number 9 is not lost on me, but leave the GoPro at home and take things a little bit slower. You're not going to hit your best lap in the winter, and dealing with a freezing up, dirt-covered camera and trying to change out batteries that die faster because it's freezing, it's just going to take away from your overall experience. Enjoy the quiet solitude. Now for our final tip, be prepared to hand wash and towel dry your bike after every ride. Sticky, sometimes salty snow and ice, it's going to cause massive wear and tear on your bearings and drivetrain if left after the ride. Now, when I say it's going to get dirty, I definitely mean it. So make sure you have a bucket, a soft bristled brush, and a towel at the ready to clean up your ride whenever you get home. Your bike, and ultimately your wallet, will thank you. Thanks for checking us out today, and let's go get dirty.